Welcome to the Black Mirror Podcast.
Join host Ho-Ho as he discusses the riveting Netflix original series,
Black Mirror. Now, here he is, Ho-Ho-Ho.
All right, so welcome to the Black Mirror Podcast. We are in the Cottage Studio, as always. And today we are talking about episode 6 of season 3, entitled Hated in the Nation. Now, guys, just to give you a fair warning, spoiler alert. So if you are interested in seeing the episode and you have not yet seen it, then please watch that first before you check out this episode. But if you already have, or if you're not interested, then continue on. This one is a pretty good episode. I tell you what, guys, this one is not too far off. I mean, it's really not. You know, with the advancements that we have made in robotics, with the advancements that we have made with with nanotechnology, this episode isn't too far away. So let's go ahead and start with the premise of this episode, okay? It starts off with telling a story, okay? They have had a very big decrease to catastrophic level of bee population in the world. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but bees are very important. I mean, they are what allows the cross-pollination with plants. So, I mean, without bees, it really is one of those things that our planet would die. They are that important. I mean, there's other things that can be done, I am sure. Wind only carries things so far. You really do need the bees to get what needs to be gotten from point A to point B. You really need the bees to do that. So you got a catastrophic drop in bee population, which is having a lot of negative effects. And so is what they did. Using this type of technology, this nanotechnology, they make an army of little robotic bees. Now, the concept of this is pretty stinking amazing. I got to be honest with you guys. It really, really is. Because, these things, they think of everything when they were designing these bees. They each have their little hub, their area that they operate in, communications hub, and the whole thing is controlled by basically an AI type of a system. It's a very hands-off kind of a thing. They don't have anything they really need to do. The robots themselves, the little nano bees, the robotic bees themselves, they're powered by the sun. It's solar powered. They don't require a lot of energy. And maintenance is very, very low. I don't remember if this is something that they can, kind of fix themselves and regenerate that type of way. I don't remember them doing it like that, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a little while since I've seen the episode. But, they really did think of everything except this. And this is where the issues come in. Anytime you have a system like this, it is just, the possibility for something bad to happen, for a hacker to break in, is high. It's really, really high. It's great. You can't, you really have to have a lot of safeguards. And they thought they did a good job with this. But the problem was, because what happened is you had a guy, the protagonist of the story, you had a guy. Some tragedy happened to him. I believe somebody in his life committed suicide. I don't 100% remember on that one. Don't hold me to that. But something bad happened. And it was basically because, this person was getting ridiculed so bad, just online bullying on social media. And other people joined in on this, and it was just a bad deal. And it drove this person to commit suicide. Excuse me, I apologize. I had a cough. But it drove this person to commit suicide. Something absolutely horrible. A tragedy, I understand, absolutely. And that is one of them aspects where this is what happens. And this is, the description in here. Let me pull it up because I forgot it already. When social media goes wrong, what happens when there are real world consequences with online hashtags? Because that's what this person did. That's what the quote unquote bad guy did. And I call him quote unquote because he's still a bad guy. All right, let's just put it that way. All right, I do not condone this type of thing whatsoever, but let's just say it just kind of in the case of even with OJ, he shouldn't have done it, but I understand why he did it. I'm not condoning his behavior, but I get it. And the same thing kind of with this guy. No, I do not condone it. No, I would not do the same thing, but I understand where he's coming from. What he did was absolutely wrong. Don't get me wrong. What he did was wrong. What he did was horrible, but I understand what he did. Because you have people, and, we experience the same thing as truck drivers out there on the road. We call them radio tough guys. People that just talk all kinds of smack whenever they're on the radio, and then whenever you get that time for face-to-face, just your best friend. Best friend you'll ever have type of a thing. I mean, very rarely do you get a radio tough guy when you meet him in person and he's the same radio tough guy. You don't usually get that. And that's a problem with our social media lifestyle nowadays, that you have people that just will go and go and go and just, tough guys and talk down on people and everything else. And they're not taking into consideration that this isn't just a picture on a screen. You're not talking with just an individual, or you're not talking with just a construct. You're not talking with a program. You're talking with an individual. You have people that just don't seem to understand, and whether they just don't get it, whether they just don't care, but they don't understand that there are people that's on the other end of these chat windows that may actually be getting affected by what's being said to them, how they're being treated. And so is what the guy did is he started a hashtag war. Okay, it was hashtag something. I honestly, I forget what the hashtag is. Let me, it was a hashtag death too. And what they did in the episode, it was, if you wanted this person to die, then do the hashtag death too, put the guy's picture on there. And it was, this person's information was going to get loaded into the database with the bees, and they were going to track the guy down because they had, as part of the technology, they had, facial recognition software in there, so they could, they were able to track people and would track them down and kill these people. So and it was an everyday thing. So whoever it was that got the highest ranking, then they were the ones who, ended up dying at the end of it. Whoever the people on the social media platform wanted dead on that particular day, then that's who died. And it didn't take them very long to realize what was going on. It really didn't. And you had some people that was reserved about this. You had other peoples that were gung-ho because it was an aspect of, it's not me. This isn't going to affect me, so why do I care? And that takes us to the end of the episode, because at the end of the episode, what this guy does is everybody who uses this hashtag death2 gets saved in the database, and the bees go after them. Especially whenever once you realize what's going on and you are seeing that there are real world consequences to what was going on in this, it's like, holy crap. And if you still have people in there that are just still gung-ho, even though knowing that this death too hashtag was a real thing, people were actually dying, and yet they were still participating in this. It's like, holy crap, man, what, are you crazy? Are you insane? Do you just not get it? And it was a payback kind of a thing, that all the people who did this, knowing the real world consequences, he went after them and attacked them. Sent the bees after them to kill them. Now, he didn't actually, his plan didn't follow through. The authorities were able to get them. You still kind of had a happy ending, if you will, at the end of this. But the message still kind of remains the same. Granted, technology-wise, we're close to being there with our advancements in nanotechnology, different things like that. And bees are in a danger. They're in the danger zone. They're in that. So, the technology is sound, and it's like, holy crap, this may not be that far into the future. This is kind of scary, but yet kind of neat at the same time. What's cool is, our technology has been growing to a point to where we can do so much with our technology. It really is astounding. It's amazing to me. It really is the things that we are capable of doing. The communications, the being able to do podcasts and do shows, whether it be audio or video. This stuff to me is exciting. We are in an amazing time with technology right there. But because of that, we have an issue going on in our society, because as we plug in more and more to the matrix, if you will, we get unplugged from the person-to-person interaction, and because we're not there as much as we used to, like especially whenever I was a kid. I'm pushing 43. I'm almost there. I was going through school in a time frame when, we were still learning critical thinking. Yes, the Department of Education was established in 1978, which was, that's where I was born. But I went to school whenever the transition was still going on, and school was teaching you how to think, not what to think in that time frame. This was before indoctrination really got really, really huge. But enough about that. This isn't a political show, but, the same thing kind of still stands, though, because we are getting unplugged more and more from the person to person without really experiencing as much the real world consequences, because we have been sheltered from that we just don't get it. And when we are, even whenever we see a video of something bad happening, we have that level of disconnect because, we're seeing it on a screen, so it's not quite as real to me. You know what I mean? I know I suffer from that too. I look at something, a news article or whatever going on, and it doesn't quite have the same impact, because it's like, part of it is a cynicism as to, is it actually real? We watch TV, like back in the day, man. You watched one of the, original Godzillas. Yeah, it was fake. Granted, it was awesome. It was there. It was cool. It still had that fear factor that was in it. But at the same time, you knew it was fake. It wasn't a question. You knew it was fake. Did it still scare you? Absolutely. Were children still affected by this that watched it? Well, yeah. Their overactive imaginations kicked in, and yeah, they were still affected by that. It still scared the crap out of them, and it even still scared the crap out of you. But at the same time, you didn't have to question the reality of what you were watching because it was stinking obvious. But now, it's not the same. It's not even close to being the same, because now with the advancement of our technology, with videography, with special effects, with CGI and everything else, holy crap. The most unrealistic movies that you watch are real because it looks real. Is that part of the problem? I don't know. And truth be told, I'm going to say no, it's not. Because, even at a psychological level, it's like, yes, I may find out, it's not real or it is, and that is going to change my outlook on something whenever I see it. But at the same time, I'm still going to question, is what I'm seeing on TV real? But maybe in some way, shape, or form, that is affecting our youth. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that, we watch these kind of things and it numbs us to the point where we're just going to go out and on a shooting rampage and we play, Call of Duty, yada, yada, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, no, I'm not going to believe that for a second because, I'm not walking around a dark room with glowing walls, chasing ghosts and eating little power pellets on the ground. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not swinging from a rope on a tree or trying to walk on top of an alligator, pitfall. I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping over barrels and climbing up ladders that a big old monkey on the top of a tower is throwing down at me. I'm not doing that. So I don't believe for a second that these things are, really affecting us in that way. But at the same time, we're raising our kids different to the point to where they don't quite understand. I mean, it's how we're raised. It's our social engineering, if you will, that has numbed us to the point. I'm not going to blame video games. I'm not going to blame TV shows. I'm not going to blame those things because, I'm not going to blame music because we had all this same stuff growing up when I was a kid. We had video games. We had the movies with the special effects and the death going on that we're seeing on it. There was still murder and crime going on, but we were raising our kids different to the point to where they valued life. And that's the problem. Nowadays, it seems like we don't have the same value to life that we instill in our kids. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think on the direction of the technology? If you've seen this episode, how far away do you think we are from robotic bees? Do you think it's a feasible thing? I mean, this is like interesting stuff. I mean, this is next level, like half a step next level technology right here. And how do you feel about the social network fallacy, the trap that we fall into by not understanding, not taking into consideration, not even in some cases caring that the people that we're yelling at, the people that we are putting down, the people that we are having interactions with are actual people. I mean, I don't know about you, but me, I don't know personally a quarter of the people that I'm friends with on social media. I'm lucky to know a fourth of them, and even less of these people do I even talk to on a regular basis. So in a matter of speaking, I get the disconnect. I get this is just a name and a profile picture to me. This isn't a person. I get that. I understand that. I can understand how you could have the disconnect, but people, please. These are real individuals with real problems. We can't take that for granted. We really can't. We can't take that for granted. You never know where somebody is in their life. You never know where somebody is at in their life. You never know those next words that you speak to somebody. If it's negative, it could destroy them. If it's positive, it may build them up in a way that you will never see and you will never know. But it's worth it. Both ways, both instances, it's worth it. It doesn't cost you anything to speak good onto somebody. It really doesn't. But how would you feel in that situation? One, you're on the receiving end of what goes on in social media with some of the attacks that happen on people. And how would you feel knowing that what you did, how you treated somebody online, had that consequence, and you were faced with seeing that article in the newspaper, the obituary of what happened to the person that you and all your friends were targeting? How would you feel about that? Would you feel some sort of responsibility for that person's death, for that person's car accident, for that person's overdose, whatever the case may be? Would you feel guilty about that? Or would you just, and go about your day? That's a scary question to ask. I myself, I wouldn't take it too well. You know, I myself, I would not be able to. And I hope you're the same way. This really is a message against online bullying. I mean, it really is. You know, there's people on the other end of these. It's not just a profile picture. It's not just a name on a screen. It's not just a random, 3 letters that are bouncing saying that somebody's responding. It's not just a random text. It's a person. Understand it. There are real world consequences to your actions on social media. Just keep that in mind. Just please keep that in mind. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. This one, I did enjoy watching it. This one was just this was a weird one. This one triggered something in me. You know what I mean? Because this is something that we need to take more into consideration. It really is. So guys, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you guys had a good time. If you guys want to catch the video, you guys can head on over to thehoshow.com. Just click on that video tab and scroll down until you see the Black Mirror podcast, and you'll be able to see that video for a time. Otherwise, if you guys are listening on the various social media platforms, I do thank you. Consider subscribing and liking and all that other kind of good stuff. It does help the show, and I do appreciate it. Consider also heading on over to thehoshow.com and checking out the other podcasts I got going on. And yeah, until next time, guys, y'all have yourself a great one. Good night, sleep tight, and if those bed bugs bite, well, then bite them back. Thank you for listening to the Black Mirror Podcast. If you would like to join the conversation, you can comment on this episode at Spreaker.com or go to thehoshow.com /forum in the discussion board for this season.